I think the thing that makes games like Phasmophobia work is that you have an evil presence in a sort of liminal space that you're forced to cooperate with. You know this entity in the room with you is out to get you, but also that you need to work with the entity in order to achieve the objective of the game. Taking Stock, a 3D first-person horror game that I'm developing, runs with this idea. I was walking my dog once at night and saw this Brookers. The lack of cars in the car park and the ambient glow of the sort of fluorescent lights gave it a really sort of liminal feeling. And that was properly spooky. This is a place where you expect to find people, but at least for the moment, there's no one to be found. What would it feel like to be inside, to walk through those doors, to be the person responsible for locking up at the end of the night? What if you shut the door, locked it, and then heard a tapping on the other side? Would you investigate it, or would you run away? This feeling is exactly what I'm trying to tap into with Taking Stock. A horror game set in a warehouse. A space that towers over you, where various boxes and clutter can cause shadows to appear in different places, really play tricks on the eye or tricks on the mind. Things hiding behind, underneath, on top of the shelves, just out of view. Noises in the distance that beckon you to investigate. So that works as a setting for a horror game. That works really well for a setting as a horror game. But now we need to give players a task to complete. Like Phasmophobia, this task should require some degree of concentration and a demand that the players interact and try and work with the ghost. Now, I don't just want to do Phasmophobia. I don't just want to go find out the ghost type. Although that would work here in this setting, I want it to be something a little bit more engaging. I want it to be more to do with the environment and more about interacting with the environment. Or, specifically, how does the ghost interact with the environment? So, here's what I've come up with. The warehouse has recently been evacuated after employees of generic shipping company kept winding up dead. Of course, this news isn't public yet, and the company intends on leveling the place before anything gets out. Those guys, they just went missing. They didn't show up for work one day. Actually, strangely, this is a growing problem across the country, and a whole new industry has been created in its wake. Stock takers. You are an enterprising stock taker tasked with entering these haunted spaces and extracting precious packages that the companies don't want to lose. You see, what you've worked out is that these ghosts appear to be drawn to high value objects, and actually they're springing up exclusively in locations where high value objects are being kept. Jewelry, expensive computer equipment, and so on. And the fact that they're drawn to these objects means that they can't help but interact with them. So here's the job. As a stock taker, you enter the haunted building, you try and figure out which packages have the highest value items in them, and then you need to extract with exactly 10 boxes. The company will pay you well for this, but if you don't at least make a profit, they're also going to penalise you. Ghosts interact with these boxes in several different ways. They may leave handprints on the boxes, they may briefly fly in the air when the ghost passes by, they may cause the nearby area to become painfully cold. They may cause the ghost to briefly reveal themselves. The more types of interactions that a ghost has with a box, the higher value the item inside of it is. So as a stock taker, you have to see which packages have the most amount of interactions, which combination of interactions does the box have. But the more time you spend investigating, the angrier the ghost gets, until eventually it'll have enough energy to manifest and hunt you down. Yeah, and like I say, the company wants to level the place, so you have a maximum of 10 minutes to get in and out. You have to extract exactly 10 boxes. The doors lock when you enter. Until you've extracted those 10 boxes, you aren't getting out, but in 10 minutes' time, the whole place is getting demolished, whether you're in it or not. To make things a little bit easy, you do have a few tools at your disposal. Your flashlight will begin blinking when the ghost is nearby, and you can always prevent a hunt by rushing to the other side of the warehouse and flicking the lights back on. Ghosts don't hunt in the light, they only hunt in the dark, we all know this. If you're really stumped, you can use the company's own package evaluator to get the exact value of the item inside of the package, but this will take 2 minutes. You've only got 10 minutes, so that's a fifth of your time used up. And with the profit you get from the extracted items, you can also buy new equipment. For example, a stronger flashlight, a single-use remote evaluator to figure out the exact value inside a package quickly, laser pens that reveal the ghost when the ghost walks through the beam, and if you're feeling lonely, you can always invite a friend to join you. The footage I've been showing is a very early proof of concept, but even this version of the game is spooky and fun. It still makes me jump. There's a really creepy atmosphere. This is just an example. Here's an example environment. Here's an example of how the ghost might work with stuff. Here's an example of how the player might move about that space, uncover evidence, and find a package. It was an experiment. It works. And I really hope that I can put this together properly before the end of the year. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this, if you have any ideas that might be cool for this game. Yeah, cheers.